How Asmon survived his youth. This video has 400,000 views. Yeah, this is me. This is my first driver's license photo. I was 16 in this, and I think I was like 22 or 23 in this. Yeah, so this is like way, way back in the day.
Every day for the past 4 or 5 years.
Oh, God.
I've had to take painkillers every night to where I'm not in agonizing pain.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was a bad time.
It's me.
For many
my
people,
teeth.
my existence is a soulless,
Asmongold is a fascist.
degenerate
millionaire who has cockroaches crawling on him because he can't throw out his fast food garbage.
I like kind of being the villain.
I am an animal.
I am,
Jesus.
almost 30 now, and I play video games
Almost 30 now? Oh, shit.
all day. I live with my mom.
What are you most excited about?
I remember this. So this was the same time that I remember I was dancing around her with like a plastic axe, and I was bouncing it around her head, and I accidentally bonked her on the head. She got so f***ing mad.
People that like hate me for living the way that I do.
It's mainly the people that push themselves into a circular hole whenever they're a square peg.
Asmongold is in the final stage of becoming a roach.
I'm a triangle. I'm not like any of this other stuff. I'm myself.
Asmongold makes millions of dollars per year, yet he lives the same life in the same house where he once lived on food stamps while taking care of his mother.
I lived this exact same life whenever I was 21.
Like, if you go back and you watch videos of me from literally over 10 years ago, you're watching this is the same person.
He's one of the most watched streamers and in many ways the most unique personality to get as successful as he is. But
I think that's the reason why a lot of people are vexed by me. Is that I am a person who has done everything wrong. I didn't care about school. I don't care about other people's opinions. I don't care about how I look. I don't care about really anything. It's still gone well. I think that a lot of people see that, and it makes them mad because they did follow all the rules. They did do what they were supposed to do, and their situation isn't what they want it to be. That's the reason why.
being an outlier has been part of his identity since childhood.
As a kid, I always felt like I was very different from a lot of other people. People thought that I was a little bit off, a little bit weird. I've always had a big problem with being able to like relate to other people.
Yeah, I think that growing up, I was just very used to just detaching myself from things and accepting things for how they are.
I live in Austin, Texas. I've lived here pretty much my whole life.
We didn't live in the projects, right?
Oh my God, bro. Like back in the dark ages. That's my KFC shirt. I remember this real well.
But we were one of the poorer families in a working class neighborhood.
Mom and I were separated for a while, and then we got divorced.
My parents are divorced, and I lived with my mom.
I grew up very poor.
We basically barely skated by most of the time.
My mom, you guys got to understand that, like, we would literally, my mom, she would have $20 in her wallet with no $20 on the horizon. She didn't have a job. There's no money coming in. We were very poor. Like, she made under poverty, like, every year, basically. That's why, that's how we got food stamps.
And primarily the reason for that, honestly, is because my dad. My dad always paid child support, etc., at least until I was 18.
When you were growing up poor, like, tell me about what it was like
or
to
16
go to
in
school.
this.
Oh, it would suck, right? I mean, like, especially if everybody else had X or Y thing and I didn't have it.
This is whenever I was a little kid, by the way. Keep this in mind. Like, by the time that I was in high school, I loved going to school. I never skipped school. I never did. Because that's where all my friends were. But, like, elementary school and middle school, like, you know, there were some good times and some bad times, right?
You know, there would be many times whenever I wouldn't have something that it felt like everybody else would have, or I wouldn't be able to do something that everybody else could do,
No, I never
or
did.
I couldn't look forward to something that everybody else could look forward to. And it did feel bad to be like that one person that didn't have it.
This early challenge taught Zach a powerful truth that's going to become the core of his personality.
You know, I really tried to you know, like, take myself seriously. You know, I tried to have a good impression, do the right things, say the right things, wear the right things, be the right kind of person.
This was our first day of school in 2005. I remember he would come over at 7 in the morning, and we would play video games. We'd play Halo, and then our 2 other friends would come over, and we would be doing 4-player split-screen Halo at 7:30 in the morning.
I basically allowed that to kind of be part of what I identified myself as. That was the case all through elementary school and also all through middle school. The real formative moment for me personally was in high school. At the very beginning, I went to a more upscale, a richer high school.
My dad wanted me to go there.
The kids would drive the Hummers to school. It was very obvious that these kids did not buy their cars from their McDonald's part-time job, okay?
I didn't really fit in there.
They were very brand conscious. They were very conscientious about what they would wear, how they would look.
People are very, very conscientious now about how they're perceived. And I think that the internet has magnified this and made it worse. I see people all the time who do things that they don't even want to do, but it's because they are worried about being seen a certain way or not being seen a certain way. They're totally controlled by the opinions of other people.
And whenever I looked at those people, I thought it was so superficial and so worthless and so meaningless that it was just very off-putting and weird to me. I was also looking in a mirror, and I realized that those people were doing this same thing. I was just doing it to a lesser extent, and if I had as much money, I'd be just like them.
And at that point, I realized that I didn't really want to be like other people, and I had to develop, I guess, my own identity. Then I ended up getting transferred over, and I went to the school where my friends were.
He began developing hyper-competitiveness and love for games.
He was always into video games.
Eric, what just happened in the game?
This is how obnoxious and annoying I was. I was like, who won, who lost? And I wanted Eric to just say that I was the one that won.
I wanted a video camera whenever I was 11 years old.
I've always been interested with like film and everything like that.
I've been making videos ever since I was 8 or 9 years old. My dad got me a video camera for Christmas, and ever since then I've been making my own videos.
In 2006, Zach stepped into a world that would shape his life in ways he could never have imagined.
I started playing WoW in 2006 in July. I bought the game, and I didn't ever even play it. I bought the game from this kid at school in my computer class. I take the game home and I put it on my bookshelf, and I just didn't really think about it for probably 3 or 4 months. We were kind of bored of playing Halo. All that I had in my bookshelf, I had this this little box, and it was a World of Warcraft. So the first thing I do is I go to YouTube, I look up World of Warcraft, and I see a video of this mage soloing a dragon. This is the most badass game in the world.
Like a young Asmongold, I wasn't taken seriously by anyone. I was a 16-year-old loser. You have your friends that are planning out, you know, I want to be this, I want to be that. And they're talking about going to school and going to college. You have friends that have had girlfriends at that time. Life is progressing onward. And for me personally, I always felt like it wasn't really, like, it wasn't progressing for me.
That kind of changed a little bit whenever I went into Burning Crusade.
The next day after Burning Crusade came out, it was a snow day at school. And it legitimately made me believe in God. I was like, there's no way this happened on its own.
You know, I became a successful player, and then a successful officer, and then a successful raid leader. I went from having people like call me, you know, loser or whatever, to like complimenting me and like saying, you know, you've been working, you know, this is like, you know, your character's really great. You know, you're doing a lot of DPS. You're a great leader.
If you're a young guy, video games are one of the first places that you can get into where you're actually on an even playing field against people that have a structural advantage in real life. And I think that's the reason why video games and like those types of games appeal so much to young men, is that you can have a place where you can seek validation and have a victory in that game that is owned by you. That's why a lot of young guys get so addicted to games.
His love for making videos and his passion for World of Warcraft merged in the next hobby he took on.
I made my YouTube channel right after I graduated from high school.
I was ready to go to business school, and I had been accepted. And what happened is my mom got sick. I felt that I kind of had to stay home, and so I kind of was taking care of her and helping her.
Oh, jeez. This is a bad time.
What's up, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold. And so I decided at that point that, you know, I would take that time and I would really do what, you know, a lot of people had been asking me to do.
All I did back then was make WoW guide videos. That was all I did.
At the same time this was happening, like a lot of my friends were obviously going through college, finishing college, having girlfriends, like moving in and everything. And I was worried about, you know, number one, my mom dying. Number two, being homeless.
At this point,
that wasn't a good time.
I pretty much had no money. You know, my mom didn't have a job. I didn't have a job.
This was 2011 or 2012.
This was the time where I was pretty much, ironically, at the peak of my degeneracy. I was probably one of the highest rated warriors in WoW at the time.
Important,
great,
very
but,
important.
Not necessarily in real life.
I went to the dentist and they did like a complete diagnosis, exam on my mouth, and
bunch of
they said it would be
x-rays.
$50,000 to get all my teeth and everything fixed. And if I didn't do that, I would lose my teeth, and that'd be pretty much it.
Throughout the next 7 years, I was not able to afford dental care, and I was not able to afford really any sort of medical care whatsoever.
I would have these toothaches that would get so bad that I would pass out from the pain.
And a lot of my teeth fell out.
During this period, Zach tried a few jobs, but none lasted very long.
Well, I never wanted a job. All I really wanted to do was collect government welfare and play video games.
I thought that I would just have a shitty job, play video games for my whole life, and then die.
I was not motivated to go to school. After working at Sam's Club for one goddamn day, I put in more applications that night than I have put in the last 3 years of my life.
The shitty job is actually a lot more shitty than I thought it would be.
And before that, I worked for the IRS.
I love working at the IRS. I hated working at Sam's. That's why I quit.
Before I started streaming, I was in business school. I already had one business degree, and I was getting another one to transfer over to
UT Law, or maybe Baylor, depending on which one I would get accepted to.
And then I told my dad. My dad was very happy about this, right?
Then I decided to play World of Warcraft instead.
The reason why I dropped out is that I was making $1,500 a month. And I was like, okay, well, I can make a living on $1,500 a month. Why would I need more than $1,500 a month? So I just, like, I mean, if I'm already making the money and I don't have the degree, what the hell do I need the degree for? So I just dropped out of school.
Listen, dude. The Asmongold struggle right at the very beginning of streaming, that was a grind.
I pretty much like stopped interacting with a lot of friends of mine because I focused pretty much just on streaming.
There was a lot of friction with me and my dad growing up. Basically, my dad, in some ways, he would care about what I thought, but in other ways, he wouldn't. Basically, what he thought about things would always overrule what I thought about things. Like, growing up, he would definitely try to, like, put me into places that I didn't want to be in. And that's the reason why I'm so resolute. It's one of the reasons why I'm so resolute about, like pushing away from anybody who is pushy. He was a very pushy person. I hate being treated that way. This is going to maybe sound, like, odd, but I have never cared about my parents' approval about anything. Like, if my parents weren't happy with what I did, it didn't even register to me. Because, like, I looked at it as, like, you know, this is my life. It didn't make sense to me that, like, you would even consider another person's feelings, right? Why would you even think about what they're thinking or how they feel? It's your life, right? Like, that was always how, like, I would base my decisions off of. When he started making big money in a month, I bet he accepted he was wrong. Well, I don't think he really was wrong. Like, he would support me in doing it, but, like, he, at the same time, he always wanted me to, like, he wanted me to do the things that you're supposed to do. And I didn't want to do those things. My golden rule is that I live my life for myself. Like, I don't consider anybody else or anybody else's feelings whenever I make decisions for what I want to do.
I streamed every single night. I was very dedicated. I tried to make things as entertaining as possible.
I started like getting a lot more popular on Twitch, and things kind of just snowballed from there.
Asmongold is now one of the most watched streamers, and over time, his content has expanded to political and social commentary.
That is the largest political commentator in North America right now.
My mom, over the past 10 years, I've taken care of her. I've been, in a way, a caretaker for her. She was 70 years old. She was overweight. She smoked. And she basically lived her life like a college freshman. So I spent so much time with her and with only her. Over the years, it's just gotten worse. That's the way the disease works.
That was a long time ago. It's crazy how long that was.
Asmongold stands as a polarizing figure because he embodies a rare online authenticity. His words aren't crafted for approval, but spoken exactly as he sees them. That allows people to see themselves in him, making his character deeply relatable despite the controversies around him.
It was a good video. Yeah, it was nice. Some of these, I forgot I even had some of these videos up on the internet. What are the comments on this? Gonna be honest, he looked quite good when he was younger, not even joking. I don't know why I read that one. And he's really grown on me in the past few years. Yeah, I mean, I have simply just been, I don't know, I've just been myself, right? I do what I do, and that's it. I feel like for a long time, this is kind of just what I've done. I mean, growing up, like, I was actually very happy. Like, things were great growing up. Like, obviously, like, it wasn't perfect, but, you know, in a general sense, it was actually quite enjoyable. I was quite happy about it. You need to pass on, you need to pass on your legacy? Well, I don't know about that. I mean, like, I am a soulless, degenerate animal. And so generally, you know, girls are not particularly interested in that. And I don't blame them, if you want me to be honest. I don't. I think it makes a lot of sense. Any advice for new content creators? Just be yourself, do what you want to do, and then try not to spend all your time on something that doesn't work. That's my advice, right?